The Dragon Dreamers, Gina Virginia Casella here, spiritual biz entrepreneur, mind reprogrammer, and energy medicine practitioner. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We've got an hour together, New Moon Wisdom Weavers. This is absolutely free. And this is a nice little way for me to promote myself and to spend some time with you. I like to wear gloves when I do this work, but I'm noticing I'm having a hard time multitasking here. Let me know in the comments if you can relate. This is a collective mini gemstone reading, so even if you catch it on a different day, it still applies to you. Here we are. So if you want to get in on StreamYard, um, here's something that you can click on. You'll get to save some money and it helps me out as well. I also want to let you know that I offer memberships, paid memberships on Buy Me a Coffee. And so I'm finding the best way to do privates is to see you twice a month, 1 hour sessions, 2 times. And basically, you don't have to worry about what you're booking. Probably going to need your chakras cleared, give you a gemstone reading, and then absolutely test you for intrusive entities, whether those are actual ghosties or if they're crystallized energy. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Just book. So there's information there, GinaVirginiaCasella.com. So this is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm going to dive right into it. New to using StreamYard. I'd like to see if anybody's making any comments. Oh, it's already on comments. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is open up some sacred space. If you don't have a candle, incense, that's totally fine. And before we end things, I'm going to do fire ceremony. So you want to run and grab 2 sticks. I keep the end of my incense. And if you like having these conversations where you just think, pair, share it up. I know I always look forward to those conversations. Then you definitely want to get in on the free content that I offer, which is also available on GinaVirginiaCasella.com. You'll see everything there. Okay, just want to make sure I keep my area here organized. So this is where I do the gemstone reading, and don't worry, I'm gonna make it so that you can see everything. So if you want to know how I made this, again, tune into my GinaVirginiaCasella.com. I've got lots of free resources for you there on YouTube. And Hummingbird's Finest Nectar is what this collection is all part of. Recently reorganized some things in case you're confused. And I just feel like I miss you because it's been a while since I've been here on live. And the Conscious Evolution mini-series, actually, it's in honor of the Conscious Evolution mini-series. And if you look at my playlist on YouTube, that's all there now. So without further ado, let's get busy. And if you want face the south, for me, the south is that way. I'll use my hand so I keep facing you. Great winds of the south, snake, wrap your coils of light around us. Teach us to shed what we no longer need, shedding the past the way you shed your skin. Help us to walk impeccably on planet Earth, walking softly with Pachamama Mother Earth. Absolute conviction with each step. We don't have to worry about getting poked or anything like that in our vulnerable states. Oh. Great winds of the west, jaguar, mother jaguar, sister jaguar, be with us, great spirit, Otorongo, helping us to keep fierce, helping us to transform and transcend time and space, trekking, Thank you, Mother Jaguar, for showing us the ways of the water. And thank you to the masculine Jaguars for taking us that extra mile. And my little Jaguar girl here, Rosie, joining us in today. Aho. To the winds of the north, hummingbird. Thank you, Great Spirit Hummingbird, for reminding us that the smallest person really can make a difference. It's not a cliche. Nobody tells a dragon what to do, and that's the hummingbird energy. That is the hummingbirds. They don't worry about where they're going to stop. They don't worry about where they're going to get the next meal. They just drink the finest nectar and they go, and they're not even built to fly on a literal level. And literally they fly all around, and they even fly around from Canada to Brazil year after year. Thank you, hummingbird, for showing us that the only way we can truly develop our wings is by taking the journey. I humble. Winds of the East, Eagle Condor. Thank you, Eagle Condor, for showing us the greater perspective, the greater themes, the bigger picture, and showing us the value of the details, but not to get hung up in the details, weaving between rights, roles, and responsibilities. We take on rights, roles, and responsibilities, but no matter what we do and no matter where we go, we're always going to be us. I'm always going to be me. And I like me. And it's important that we like ourselves, all of ourselves, all parts of our shadow. Eagle Condor, thank you for showing us the way to live our lives by flying wingtip to wingtip. Show us how to fly so high like you. Aho. Shamama, Mother Earth, biological one known as Gina, born 1981, calls to you. Children of clay are we, all of your children, the two-legged, the four-legged, the eight-legged, the finned, the furred, the 100-legged, those who are completely bald, those who have hair, those who have feathers, those with beaks, noses, walking, talking trees. We are in our own rights. Thank you, Mother Earth, for taking us in and taking us out, composing and decomposing us, part of our greater sovereignty and beauty prayer that we all belong to. Thank you, Pachamama, for teaching us. Nature is always our first teacher. You are the mother that is there before us. You'll be there after us. You'll never leave us. You're always there for us. May we be better stewards of the earth, the stone people, the plant people, all of your children, all of our relations to you, Pachamama, Mother Earth, Kaya, Aho. Star nations, we call to you, Father, Son, Grandmother, Moon, be with us. Great Spirit, you who are known by 1,000 names and you who are the unnameable one, thank you for bringing us closer together and for allowing us to sing yet another song of life. Oh, and I want to give a special thank you to my spirit guides who we're recalibrating right now. That's right, folks. Polaris, Amanda, Toby, the goddess Bridget, all of them I'm within deep gratitude for. And something that I'm working on this new moon, weaving my wisdom in the dark, is gratitude for intrusive entities, because some of my dominant spirit guides, and I'm still figuring it out, but some of my dominant spirit guides were actually intrusive entities. And even though I was doing phenomenal work with them, they were intrusive entities and they had to go. So I feel a sense of sadness, and I wonder if anybody out there can relate, because I'm still not even sure who I let go, and I'm not even sure who's with me. And that's all part of discernment. And that's Eagle Condor medicine, the rights, roles, responsibilities, and our spirit guides taking on rights, roles, and responsibilities. So that's what I'm thinking of this new moon. So I'm wondering about you. Amy R78, good to see you. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. And this is a collective new moon reading. So this one's going out to everybody. I'm just going to open my Viracocha, my protective energy over me, and then I'm going to extend it onto you, Dragon Dreamers. Just give me a moment here. My breath connecting with the ecosphere in and around me. Centered space. Entering timelessness. Okay. And I'm going to be extending my Viracocha onto you. My Viracocha falling onto you, golden light cascading down, down and around, all around you, protecting your space. Okay, let's dive right into these gemstone readings. Let me get this comment off the screen here. All right, I didn't even have to take my gloves off. So what I'm going to do is I have a fancy cardboard box here that I keep things on. I'm going to move this out of the way, lower my laptop. And I'm going to have to take off my background so you can see. Okay. Media assets. You get media assets, system, visual effects, and none for background. Okay, so there's Rosie on the side. Hopefully my bed's made. You're not supposed to see that stuff in the background. Okay, so this is my gemstones. I got it here in a sock, and then the Dragon Dreams Oracle are inside here. And I'm just going to get right busy. It's 9:15, so that is good timing. And there, okay, you can see me okay. Okay, so if you leave any comments, I won't be able to see them, but I will check in for comments. So as I'm talking away, let me know how you relate. Okay. So if you were to book a private with me, you would get all of the attention, and the gemstone reading would be all about you. And then I would clear your chakras, and then with any time that we had left, which would be a good 15-20, I would check you for any intrusive entities. We have a lot of ghosts inside of us, whether it's an actual ghost that can talk or growl at us, or it could be a ghost like an object, like if you were stabbed in a past life and now that knife is like a ghost knife still inside of you. That's what a private would look like and sound like. Okay, so Amy, pick a number between 1 and 12 if you're still live, and I'll check it in a second here. This is a collective reading. This is for the new moon. Coil, recoil, loosen the soil. Coil, recoil, what are your morals? Coil, recoil, The truth does not spoil. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, tap, tap, tap. Duality is where it's at. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, hop, hop, hop. The duality never stops. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, be. The only thing to be certain of is my uncertainty. Left is right, up is down, north is south, east is west, north is south, east is west, north is south, east is west, north is south, east is west. I'll tell you how you can serve the universe best. Okay, my eyes are closed now. Amy, if you haven't picked a number yet, pick one, put it in the chat. My hand is going counterclockwise, and there's one of the gemstones caught in my fingers here. Which one is this? My eyes are closed. And I feel like that's it. I don't feel like I want to go around anymore. Okay, my eyes are open. Amy picked the number 5. I'm working with the black obsidian. Number 5 is going to go there. All right. So what does this even mean? This is a collective reading. So what stands out? Well, let's look at the power animals, the heart space, the mental plane, the physical plane. Physical plane is off. As a collective, we're feeling like our bodies right now are busy bodies. But soon we're not going to have this energy. Like right now, it's like we're very busy, but it's not doing anything. So this is a bit frustrating. And that's the thing about these gemstone readings. They're pretty. So if you're a minority out there and this doesn't apply to you, let us know in the comments, because there's always this mirroring that's going on in blind spots. But most of us right now as a collective, we're very like, oh, I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up. And physically, it's a lot for us physically. Maybe, you're up and down the stairs, you're back and forth to the grocery store, you're in and out of the yard. It is harvest season, like things need to be done. That could be an indicator why. But we're not being effective. So it's kind of like, imagine you were going up a roller coaster and you're busy trying to do things. Well, once that roller coaster gets to the top and goes down, you don't have to run down the hill because the dynamic energy and gravity are working in your favor. So you're using energy, and me too, I'm part of the collective. We're using energy that we don't need to be using, and it's physical energy. Let's keep going. That was just the first thing that stood out. And why is that a bad thing? If we're busy and we're keeping going, like if you're working out right now, you're not going to be losing your calories. You're just tiring yourself out. It's not being effective. The mental plane is way down here, and it's negative thoughts are on our mind. And when I look at snake is out of alignment. Snake is way over here. It seems that we're living in a bit of an illusion right now. As long as you keep busy physically, then you'll tire yourself out mentally. But what ends up happening is once you finally like relax, well, your negative thoughts are dominating. So this is why we're not being effective, folks. We're not being effective because in theory, yeah, like we have a good idea, physically burn yourself out, and that helps with the cognitive, but we're a little bit excessively burning ourselves out. We're not effective, and the cognitive is remaining stagnant. Jaguar is out of alignment. Uh, this isn't a good time, this new moon. It's not the new moon today. I always like to do this about a week in advance. Sometimes it's a few days, depending on the new moon. Um, but like for the next like month, if you will, the next new moon cycle, whatever you're working on, keep working on that. Keep alchemizing that. Some of it's got to go. There's new seeds that need to be planted. But transforming and transcending something like brand new, it's not a good time for that. And this is coming from Jaguar because we're not in alignment. We don't even know what we want to transform and transcend. We have old ideas. Anything new you're trying to do is going to be uprooted. It's not going to be working out because basically you're out of energy. And if energy was money, you're spending all your money right now. It's kind of like you're going to go down the roller coaster, but you're spending all your time and money focusing on gas, and gas is the last thing you need right now. You're like fixed on gas. Probably because you want to get away from these negative thoughts. But these negative thoughts, they're going to be haunting you. Why? Why are negative thoughts haunting you? Hummingbird is out of alignment. Your high quality items. You don't know your own worth right now. There's confusion. The Polaris. Where's Polaris? There's one of Polaris's horns. Here's another one of Polaris's horns. Seems like Polaris really wants us to focus on this zone, which resonates with me because there's not much here, but I keep feeling drawn to here. So anything new that you want to work on, maybe save that for the next new moon. The new moon is about planting your seeds, womb and tomb, death type themes. The full moon is more about life and igniting. The new moon is about tucking away and planting. So if you wanted to plant something, I would plant your negative thought patterns. And I feel this gemstone reading is really resonating with me because of the way I kicked it off. This is the stuck zone, the stagnant zone. Why does Polaris want us to focus on here? And there's not much here. Like if I just remove the rest of these gemstones just to get rid of some confusion here, just take them all away. Just focus on these ones here. This is very powerful. So the heart, this is representative of the heart, and the heart is a little bit down. The joy that we feel, the gratitude we have for life, we're not feeling that right now, but we're lying to ourselves. We're like, I'm happy, I'm hyper, look at me moving around, going up and down the stairs, growing, shopping, raking leaves, taking care of this and that. But really, you're denying yourself your negative feelings. And then when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind comes into play Like if you spend the day telling yourself, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. And then you're like running, 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 trying to forget about that thought. And then you tire yourself out and you've forgotten all about being fat. Well, the second you go to sleep, guess what thought's going through your mind? I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. And we learn that nobody is actually having an issue with weight. People are having problems, big time problems, with feeling scared, not feeling safe. Well, what can I do to get big? I need to get fat. So I'm using weight right now as an example. But how does that translate into your life? Maybe it is weight, you know, but whatever you're doing, it's not effective. And I completely relate to this because recently, um, well, back in the summer, spring actually, in the springtime, in anticipation for the summer, I had my programs. I really liked what I was offering. But then I started playing with things. I started uprooting things. And I was starting to forget my own value because I basically was giving everything away for free. And there wasn't even any reciprocity. People were like telling me, "Oh, I really enjoy you and thanks for the free content," but not one person actually left a thank you comment on Buy Me a Coffee. So there's some there now, but they're very far and few, and it's just like the people that that I've really like gone out of my way to help. Um, they don't even belong to my Facebook group, the free Facebook group, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. And I've had people call me out of the blue, just Facebook messaging me, telling me that they're having a hard time, they're really struggling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be there for you, attitude, right? But then what happens to my time? And I do offer a lot of free promotions, and so I was getting confused. I was getting caught up in the triangle of disempowerment without even realizing it. And so when I'm reviewing this gemstone reading today and reflecting it to myself, it's like shit, like I get it. I get it. That was me. That was me. I was physically um burning myself out so that I could what? Change my plans and my integrity for people who there's not even reciprocity going on. Like, no, I need to know my value. And so when I look at this gemstone reading, it's like, so for me, because I like to relate, right? Um, but for me, I actually um, went back and basically revamped things, which is why people may be confused at this time what I'm offering. But for what it's worth, it is all there. It's all there. And I've had an abundance of unideal clients reach out to me. So I don't do talk therapy. And I don't work with push energy. I work with pull energy. And if I have to like spoon feed somebody and literally hold their hand or basically book their session with me for them, that's not an ideal client, right? And I get it. I know what it's like to be down in the dumps. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like not to have money to book a session. But I also know what it's like to take full advantage when somebody's offering free resources. I know what it's like to give thanks and praise by liking, sharing, subscribing to their content, right? That kind of stuff. And what I'm trying to do in this moment is reassure you because um, I too feel insecure about things like business plans when I change them. I too feel insecure when, I'm doing oracle readings and pulling tarot cards, whether they're from my own or whether I gain insight from somebody else, and I get a message that says, the window has closed, or, the spirit is calling you, but you're not responding to the call, respond to the call. Or it's like, you feel like you got to wait. So, um, this message here today is telling you, like, you might be your very own problem. And the warrior goddesses have a strong presence here because something inside of you, inside of me, inside of us, because this is a collective reading. It's like we're fighting. And this seed would like to root itself, but it's not going to. Not if it's not in alignment with your integrity. So whatever you're doing right now might just be like a quick fix or something like that. It's not the permanent solution. And all of us require solutions at this time, not a quick fix solution. So Toby, this is representative of the tree of life. Toby, he's telling us, like, look, metaphorically, the tree is still growing, it's still blossoming, but if you want this tree to stay alive, then you need to nourish it. So what were you doing last month, the month before? What were you doing in the summer? What were you doing in the spring? Whatever you were doing, it wasn't working out. You had to alchemize it. Okay. But now we're being asked to continue to alchemize that. Don't let that go. Don't let it go. Has it been frustrating? Yes. But you're at a point now where finally it's getting there. So, is duality at hand? Yes. Do this, but don't do that. Now is the time, but now is not the time. Reach out, but don't reach out. Like, what the hell, right? So, greater theme wise, don't do anything new with your hopes and dreams right now. Dial it back. Whatever you're working on, keep working on that. And that makes me feel really good about me and what I'm doing. And also giving people tough love, because there's been opportunity for me to make money. Um, but the energy medicine work that I do and the mind reprogramming that I do, that's not minimum wage, right? Let me know in the comments if you can relate. It costs a lot of money to get the education that I have. And even if I didn't have that education, something like my Dragon Dreams Oracle, the Gnome King's Gemstones, like those are creations of my own making, right? I have to know my value. I would rather serve one person, an ideal client, make less money than serve 10 unideal clients and and I'm charging them like, you know, don't be afraid to weed people out. This is a collective reading. There's a lot of personal things going through my mind. So I'd like to know how you relate personally to this gemstone reading. I feel like the warrior goddesses are being very, very protective. Like, you know, people who don't know your value, why are you spending time on them? You know, the committee of the ones who listen, they're listening, they're taking it all in, and the committee of the ones who listen, they go and report out. Sometimes they listen more intently than others. And right now, they're really, really listening because they want you to go deep inside. And that's, um, Amy chose the number 5. And the number 5, like if this was a clock, this is the obsidian too. I chose the obsidian because I felt like we all needed to go deeper within ourselves. Black color representative of the deep subconscious mind. And so this is all connecting very nicely, because if this was a roller coaster or a clock, the deep subconscious mind is rolling towards that 95%. And um, when it comes over here, what is it rolling into? Is it rolling into stress? What kind of stress? You know, positive stress because things in your life are really picking up? Is it negative stress because things are going downhill? Is it just kind of a place of indifference? You don't really feel stress. You're okay with not knowing the next steps. And that's the energy that I'm getting a strong vibration in this moment, is that place of indifference, because we really don't know anything until we try. And the great I, if you will, is asking us, have we tried? It's trying to be trying. And I know for folks like me personally, if I was listening to this, I would be so triggered. I might even like shut me off right now, totally turn the YouTube channel, because the last thing I want to hear is somebody tell me that I didn't try, right? Don't tell me I didn't try. But you know what? It's trying to be trying. So we need to transform. We need to stop trying, and we need to start transforming that into striving. Striving. When you're living your life, you're just supposed to live it. Off you go. Just like those tillers of the earth. I always think about badgers. I was a teacher for 20 years, so every now and then we would get into our little animal videos, and I loved watching the badgers and other tillers of the earth, because they're just so happy to, dig their way through the sand and mud, getting through the soil, and they come across a rock. They don't really spend more than 10 seconds on it. If the rock moves, great. If the rock doesn't move, they go around it. If they can't go around it, they go over it. If they have to just leave and start a whole new hole over here, then that's what they'll do. Nothing is going to be stopping them type attitude. And that's the attitude of hummingbird. And that's what's coming in really strong for me right now is get your hands dirty, get out there, till that earth, that, hey, if there's an obstacle in the way, people like me, we tend to stop and investigate it. We spend a lot of time trying. Stop trying, okay? Get out of there and move on with your life, because that obstacle is keeping you stagnant. Now, those of you who have been following me, you know all about it. But if you haven't been following me, I feel really pissed off about intrusive entities and feeding tubes, because it was a full disclosure for me when I was doing my energy medicine training. We had to practice on each other, and I saw this, like, when you look at somebody and it's like you're looking at yourself, and you start talking to the person and it's like you're talking to yourself. That happened to me and one of my colleagues, and it just escalated me, because she had an intrusive entity in her blind spot. So if she looked left, it was right. If she looked right, it went left, right? If she was looking up, it was down. And when she realized this, she didn't really make a big deal out of it, because she didn't understand the gravity of the situation. And I basically told her, I said, if there was a stranger man in your house right now, how would you feel? And all of a sudden it changed her, because it's like there's somebody in you. And I feel like this gemstone reading is a cry out to everyone listening to come and see me, or anyone who does safe extractions of intrusive entities, because to tell it like it is, um, you're your biggest problem right now. Why? Because you have the right to live, right? Because you have the right to be alive. You have a life worth living. You don't just have the right to be alive, but you have the right to live a life where you have abundance and freedom and joy. Okay, great. Yeah, not great, because there's past versions of you, and myself included. I learned a very big lesson. I am a very, very big problem to myself. Book 8 of the Dragon Dreams book series is all about this. And this gemstone reading is all about this too. This gemstone reading is about entities. And you know what? Like, if you know how passionate I am about mind reprogramming and you taking charge of your life, you really can do that. But a lot of us don't know we can, and then they don't know how. The how is see somebody like me for mind reprogramming. But if mind reprogramming isn't working, that's because you have an intrusive entity. You have a ghost, a spirit, an ancestor, whatever language you're using, a demon inside of you. So these are not spirit guides. And some of my spirit guides were intrusive entities, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Atonement with myself, atonement with God, atonement with my spirit guide, grieving the loss of these entities. You know, like a lot of them did me really well. But at the end of the day, they were intrusive. So I couldn't be all I could be. Metaphorically, it was like they were feeding off of my energy like a parasite. And unless past life versions of me die, I can't alchemize because I'm the high quality item carried forward, not them. They're in the past. In this moment, I feel very passionate and very concerned and very, I want to assert that spirit guides are not intrusive entities. And you know what? Intrusive entities, it's not like in the movies, okay? But they do need to be safely extracted. And that's something I can help out with. If you're like me, and this is a collective reading, so there's always going to be a minority that's totally not relating with this. So let us know if that's you and let us know what's going on in your life. Because the minority is important for our blind spots, and our collective is like those are blind spots for the minority. But full disclosure, in my life, I've been working with qigong and going through the first two keys, taking me a lot longer than anticipated. Whatever. And really belting the mantras. I have a life worth living. My life matters. I have the right to be alive. And then through my own process and journey, I realized there's quite a number of past life versions of me that also saying the same things. I have the right to be alive. My life matters. And so when they actually died, they didn't die consciously. They didn't die saying, I love you. They didn't die forgiving people. They didn't die forgiving themselves. Some of them not even aware that they're dead. Some of them absolutely aware that they're dead, but telling me that they have a right to be alive and that they're going to continue to be an intrusive entity, even though that, like, I'm aware of them, they're not going anywhere. And it's like, I don't think so. Even though I'm the 5% conscious mind, I trump the 95%. That's the power we have. That's why we're the gods we've been waiting for. The 95%, that subconscious mind, the part of the iceberg that you can't see, can be very scary and intimidating. It's 95%, right? But really, we, the biological one, and when we say things out loud, we have the coherence, we hear it. I'm the God I've been waiting for. I'm in charge of my programming. And if I want an intrusive entity out, it goes out. Now, doing this is something that you can do on your own. Reality check, blind spots. Even the shaman needs a shaman. So I get together with my colleagues. Actually, we're getting together today at 1 to practice on each other some more, refining our skills. Always good to do that. But also just for our own regular maintenance. Clean out each other's chakras and then test for intrusive entities. And, just when you think that they're gone, they're not gone. Just when you think you've pulled out all those crystallized extractions, like a dagger or a spear that's been there from whatever situation, from whatever past life, it's like there's more and there's more. And it's because when we are doing this work, we're weeding out the garden. So we're pruning and getting rid of and uprooting the stuff that we don't need. But just like any garden, as we get rid of the stuff that we don't want, it opens the sunlight to grow on other stuff, but it's growing on other stuff that didn't have a chance to get our attention earlier. And now that it has our attention, we want to get in there and clear it. So I don't have anything else to say about this gemstone reading. Sometimes each gemstone is talking and wants to say something to me, but this was the heart of the gemstone today. There's an emphasis on entities, and and that could scare people. I know exactly what it's like to have the spooks. Those of you who know me, oh my God. It's a miracle, really, that I even do this work. I used to really genuinely be terrified of spirit and ghost because of an experience I had when I was in grade two. Um, but you don't have to be afraid of spirit. You don't have to be afraid of the ghosts. If you're going to be afraid of anything, be afraid of other biologicals, whether they're people or animals, whether it's nature like a storm. Those are things we can't control. But when it comes to spirit or an intrusive entity is bothering you, you just let the intrusive entity know that you're going to be booking a private with me and that we're going to be taking care of that. And I guarantee you're probably going to start not liking me. You're going to start feeling irritable about me. And that's that intrusive entity inside of you. Because if you get annoyed, then you just won't book that session. Or maybe you'll even book the session, pay me the money, but then you'll tell me off behind the scenes or something like that. And then I'll refuse to serve you because it's part of my policy, right? Behavior standards and behavior. Um, that's the entity. Um, so this stagnation is quite serious. And Toby, the tree of life, it's he wants to support us and he wants us to root, but it's like, no way. No way. You know why? Because you're not even rooting anything. It's the entity within you that's living your life and planting hopes and dreams. And I'm making that connection now. That's why this isn't working out and you're out of alignment. Um, I'm not impressed by that. you know, entities, um, it can be confusing because when you don't have anybody to talk to, they're around. They've been around for a long time, but still they're not supposed to be there. And even if you have a good relationship with your entity and you're like, the entity and my entity and I, we really get along and we save the world together. No, you're not saving the world together. That's an illusion. And just think about what more you could do if that entity wasn't literally feeding off of you. Okay. I'm just going to check the comments and turn my cool background back on. I knew I was getting passionate there, but for me, I just couldn't believe how many false inhibiting beliefs I had when I got into mind reprogramming. And even then, they still haunt me every now and then. And then when I started to do my work as an energy medicine practitioner and realizing the severity, I still need to pull a card from the Dragon Dreams Oracle. But like, you are not a robot. Inside my mind, I'm like telling entities off right now. Like, you leave this Dragon Dreamer the fuck alone. And you know what? Like, if you don't know anything about entities, You could read all kinds of stuff, but I mean, I recommend saving it for the Four Winds, Alberto Villoldo, and also I'm having a brain fart right now. Kedrick Olson talks about evil entities and ghosts. Patty Negree does as well. This is just off the top of my head. There's somebody else I wanted to recommend. Where's my microphone? There it is. If I'll remember later on in the middle of the night, but there's a lot of people who talk about ghosts and demons, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to listen to somebody, like, listen to somebody who has done their homework, if you will, who's not looking for attention, who's not looking to exploit anybody. Because if anybody knows anything about spirits and demons, it's actually a lot of sympathy and compassion for them, and that they're not evil. There's a mental illness. So like, if you're listening to me and part of you is hating me, that's the demon in you hating me, the entity, because it knows that it's going to be gone. And where does it go? I don't kill them. No. Before I became an energy medicine practitioner, see, now I'm just sharing out, right? Which is why it's nice to do a private and why it's nice to tune in live to have these conversations. So before, I didn't know what I was doing. In my dreams, I'm this exorcist, and I don't even know what that really means. Just getting ghosts out of people. Okay. So, but where do these ghosts go? And I felt concerned. And I also felt a sense of responsibility because I was taking them, kind of like the police. If the police is going to capture somebody, then the police are responsible for the safety and transportation of that criminal, right? And knowing that the ghosties, demons, whatever your language is, ancestors, knowing that they're stuck and that I had the gift to unstuck them was really special. And that's one of the reasons why I was haunted, if you will, most of my life, because they're like, you're the one who can help us. And I'm like, that was right. So when I started this journey, I was afraid to go anywhere. I was afraid to go on guided journeys because I was afraid that I was beyond lucid dreaming and that I was somewhere else and maybe I wasn't going to be able to find my way home. Maybe I wouldn't be allowed home. So I developed the pine tree forest in my head, and everybody's welcome there. And basically, if you dysregulate, you transform into the water cycle. So even if, like, in a positive way, like if there's something funny going on and everybody's laughing and you're dysregulating because you're laughing really hard, you still evaporate. So it's by no means, a stale kind of monotone environment, but the pine tree forest is a sanctuary. And it's a place I created because I'm not exactly trusting of where souls go, including my own. And so you can go to the pine tree forest and you can just hang out in there if you'd like. And the Grim Reaper, there's beautiful storylines, allows folks to stay there as well because there's lots of reasons. And you can read the Dragon Dreams book series if you're interested. But the point I wanted to make and the connection is that before I did my energy medicine training, I didn't know how to properly, safely extract anything. So I just felt that the ghost entity desired to come with me. So I would journey with the person to the pine tree forest, and the person would bring the entity with them. And then now the entity would be with me in the pine tree forest. And then we would thank, like me and the person would journey back, but the entity would stay in the pine tree forest with the dog monkey folk and would have sanctuary there. So when I became an energy medicine practitioner, I did this beautiful meditation where I released all the folks from the pine tree forest. And some of them they're not intrusive entities or anything like that. And there's other storylines, and so they're still residing there. But if you're curious, and because I was curious too, going back to the responsibility, accountability piece, and doing spirit work impeccably and with reverence, when I use my special shamanic crystal, the the entity literally, it can be done remotely right through the computer screen. It comes right to me, right inside my crystal, and it's trapped in there. Can it get out? I believe it can. I don't think it's trapped in there forever. But there is a bit of a time limit. How much? I don't know. Time is an illusion, but we work in timelessness. And and then I do this beautiful ceremony behind the scenes without the client around, where I release the entity, and the entity either goes up into the air, and that's representative of going to star nations to work with ascended masters, energy folk from the past, um, or it can go down, which means it's going down back to Pachamama, Mother Earth, decomposing into the elementals. And sometimes it's a little bit of both. And whenever I do it, just for a moment, there's like a face, but it's not a human face. I don't know what it is. Uh, So let me know in the comments how you relate. I'm noticing Amy left a comment. Amy R78 says, I am dealing with people who don't know my value. It hurts. I guess I'm hanging on for dear life now, but I know it will change. I don't know how yet. Thank you, Gina. And I'm sorry to hear that, Amy. Like, when people don't know your value, people can go and fuck themselves, right? And it's like, does he mean anything? And actually, no, it doesn't mean anything to a lot of people. And if you started having a fuck you attitude, then you wouldn't be in alignment, right? You would be no better than them. But for what it's worth, like, epigenetics matters. I still have to pull a card here, folks. Epigenetics matters. And if people don't know your value, why are you hanging out with them, right? I used to hang out with people all the time that didn't know my value. Why? Because I was in survival mode. I was in fear-based mode, scarcity mindset. At one point, I became homeless. I mean, I was desperate. I was a people pleaser. I clung to my career. I even clung to confidence. Confidence turned out to be an illusion. Um, when the way you treat people, somebody out there had a really good quote. The way you treat people is the way you train people. No, the way people act around you if is the way you tolerate people acting around you is how you train people to treat you. And that's, I know that's not how you want to show up in the world. Like, recently I was around people who started arguing and telling each other F you, and I'm just like sitting there. And I remember thinking, like, this isn't in alignment with my integrity. If I started to get involved, things would just escalate. I ended up just leaving. Um, they don't know my value. I don't get to see these people often, and that's how they're going to behave around me. Do you know your value? Once you know your value, it's a full disclosure. Just mixing the cards up here. And you know why it hurts? Because the truth hurts. Those people that don't know your value, they never knew your value, but you keep hanging out with them. And that hurts. That's the owl energy. So less is more. Me too. I've changed circle of friends. And you know what? Like, I've even belonged to communities where had a really great thing going, but other things led me to another community, and I had to say goodbye to people who, knew my value, you know, and like hanging on for dear life. Like, Don't try. Remember, you got to strive. Don't hang on to dear life. Let life hang on to you. Life loves you. I know it doesn't always seem that way. Okay, so the earth, the air, this finger representative of the air. It's like, I want to pick a card. And I can't pick it up because my gloves are too soft here. Ooh. I got the background on. This one here is a hand, and the pinky finger is colored blue. So I like this card a lot right now. There. Okay, I'm not going to move. There's the card. So it's a white hand, white because it's supposed to be like ghostly. It doesn't mean like black, white skin color. White for like ghostliness, and blue because not from this world. This is my period blood. I stamped all the Dragon Dreams Oracle with it. And I wish I could see your faces because every time I say that, there's somebody out there going, um, so what this card means is blue-blooded. Now, it doesn't mean Pleiadians. A lot of people think, oh, I know, blue folk are Pleiadians, or that blue-looking Indian elephant kind of folk or something. It's representative of somebody who's not from here, like a star nation. And so based on this gemstone reading, I'm going to stop showing this card. But based on this gemstone reading, what this card is, the way it all comes together is that there might be a connection to your lineage. Like there might be an ancestor or an altar. I'm not sure what language you use, but a past life version of yourself that belongs to this same lineage as you. And so if you're feeling haunted or if you feel like you have the spooks, don't. We all belong to star nations, and say a prayer, meditate to the blue-bloodeds. Ask them, who are you, blue-blooded folk? Who are you in my life? How do you connect to this intrusive entity? How can I discern what a spirit guide is versus an intrusive entity? Well, an intrusive entity ultimately is feeding off of your life source energy. And if they weren't doing that, they wouldn't be able to survive. A spirit guide, on the other hand, doesn't need you to exist. They're just complement around you. So it might even be, this might even be the intrusive entity that's got to go. And you can ask them, like, why are you clinging to me? You know, maybe once upon a time you had the right to live. Maybe once upon a time you had the right to be alive. Maybe once upon a time you had a life worth living, but not now because it's my turn to live. I have the right to live. I have a life worth living. And until you die, I can't live my life fully. And if it starts getting like angry, upset with you, then you know it's only reinforcing that it's true. So I wonder, folks like Amy R78, if perhaps you have an entity. I'm not saying you do, but I wonder if you do, and that the entity is preventing you from really knowing your value, and then it's preventing other people from knowing your value. Therefore, you can't reach your full potential. Therefore, it can continue living off, feeding your life energy force. How can these folks help you with insight, and maybe, just maybe, they're actually your problem? So spend some time looking in the mirror. Spend some time looking at the color blue. Spend some time imagining that inside your body you have blue blood, and that you're perhaps um, from so many generations ago. Why weren't you dying consciously? Why are you insisting on living? This little gemstone reading here really opened up a can of worms for me, anyways. But you know what? I'm just doing what I do, and that's get passionate. I related to a lot, folks, today. Let me know how you relate in the comments, even if you catch this in years from now. So let's just do some fire ceremony. You don't have, I got a flame here, and I've got a little tin can just for safety. Something that you're really thankful for, and something that you want to let go. So I think I've talked enough today. The thing I'm really thankful for tends to flip it and be the thing that I want to let go. And often things that I let go tend to be the things that I'm thankful for. So whatever you really want to let go, you just flow it right in there. Anything that you want to let go. And I know sometimes it's like, Gina, put that stick back up there. I'm not done letting go. We have to like spend the whole rest of the day letting go. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. This one is for something that you're thankful for, something you're grateful for. Being grateful for something, it doesn't have to be some big blowout event. Thankful for the chair holding me up right now. Thankful for every screw and plank of wood in this building. Thankful for the intrusive entities that are no longer part of me, and the intrusive entities that are in me that are listening. If they can't go on their own, then they will be removed. They don't have to be scared. It's a safe extraction. When you see someone from the four winds, an energy medicine practitioner, they provide safe extractions. Okay, so I'm going to just take this death arrow, put it right into the fire. Still burning. It's okay. Now this is the stick, things that we were thankful for. All right. Goal is not to set the glove on fire. Let me know if you have a nice big campfire and you just put a log in there. That's something that I like to do. So the gemstone reading is over. What I'd like to do is just pull in that Viracocha. So I'm picking up the golden foils of light around you. Bringing it back to me. All right, and now I'm taking my Viracocha that I put out around me, closing that up. And wanting to thank the four winds, wanting to thank Snake for helping us to let go. The new moon is all about Snake and shedding that skin. Sometimes it slips right off of us, and then other times the masks that fiercely protect us, we cling to them even though we know they're no more good for us. They served a role, and myself in particular, mourning, grieving the intrusive entities that had to go. I don't have to feel bad about it. I feel a lot better since then. I can't believe how many extractions I've had. I'm going in like weekly, multiple times. And it's a testament to the fact about blind spots and also about patterns, because shedding the skin is representative of shedding the pattern. And that skin is going to provide nice, juicy, fertile soil, rich and sweet. The lesson in today's gemstone reading: don't plant new seeds. Focus on the ones that you've already planted. Why has there been confusion? Because part of the reasons didn't even belong to you. The entities that are intrusive, they were planting seeds through us. No, this is our life to live, not theirs. They have the right to be alive in an energetic form, not in this biological form with us intrusive. Clearly, I have a lot to say about it, and I'm passionate about it. And thank you to Jaguar. Jaguar. The Jaguar spooks came up today. That is no laughing matter. You know, it's if you're feeling afraid of spirit, I feel, I hear you. I hear you. You don't have to be scared. Nothing authentic hides in the dark. Be scared of another biological. Be scared of people yielding technology. Be scared of wild animals. But you don't have to be scared of authentic spirit. And when it comes to discernment, that's part of that. You know, those two angels that came out of my wall back when I was in grade 2, those weren't angels. I'm pretty sure somebody was playing around with technology, and that's not cool. Or it very well could have been ETs playing around with technology, and that's not cool. That's not spirit. That's not spirit. So we need to discern. Thank you, Hummingbird, for reminding us of our high quality items. Amy R. 78 commenting too. People don't know her value, Hummingbird. You know, and Hummingbird is like, then those people are not drinking from the finest nectar, because Amy R78 is the finest nectar. So folks not drinking from the finest nectar, that's their problem, right? And need to shift, because there's lots of hummingbirds out there. Lots of hummingbirds looking for the finest nectar, looking for high quality, high value. Don't be afraid to shine your light. It's not easy. And it's like I can hear Hummingbird laughing or something. Like, no, it's not easy, because I'm always praising Hummingbird, but it's like Hummingbird's like, I do get tired, you know, I do need to rest. Thank you, Mother Earth, Pachamama. Thank you, Star Nations, Father, Son, and Grandmother Moon. And for me, this part gets awkward, because this is the part where I now say, and thank you to my spirit guides, Toby, Amanda, Polaris. And it's like, I'm not sure who's left. You know, I don't know. Who's left for you? um, and I love sharing my process because that's what community is all about. So thank you so much, Dragon Dreamers. Ah, thank you so much. I had a really nice time doing my gemstone reading with you today. I don't know if I can put this on share screen, but check out Buy Me a Coffee on GinaVirginiaCasella.com. It has everything. Oh, I can share screen. Um, okay, you know what? I'm scared I'm going to lose you, but GinaVirginiaCasella.com. If you're like Amy, know your value. You want to surround yourself by other hummingbirds. Hummingbirds go for the finest nectar, not breadcrumbs. You've got people looking for breadcrumbs. They don't even see you for who you are. Forget them. That's what I wanted to show you, StreamYard. So I'm new to StreamYard, and I really like it. Getting used to it. I think it's fun to put these little comments here. I like changing the background, the blurred feature. I have to turn it off, whatever, so that you could see my cards. But overall, I like this. I like how it has little introduction video that I could upload. And you know what? If you're like me and you're a spiritual biz entrepreneur, maybe I don't know, you're a painter, you're some kind of business, or you just like connecting with people, this is definitely a great opportunity. StreamYard and business expenses, they do add up. You know, everything is like $20, $30, but then it's like all of a sudden it's a few $100s. And this was a really great outlet. So I'm live on YouTube. I think for the first time, I'm successfully live on Rumble and GinaVirginiaCasella.com. Easy to remember. If you Google me, I'm getting more popular. I'm getting out there. What I do is not for everyone. There's no push energy here, only pull energy. So what do? I do transformational therapy. I've got all kinds of titles, but in short, I do mind reprogramming and I also do energy medicine. So you can learn all about me on my website, GinaVirginiaCasella.com. And if you're interested in a private membership, that's the best case scenario because you get all of the attention. It's just you and me. It's not on StreamYard. I do it over Zoom and then I send you an unlisted link. And so if you keep the link private, you keep your session private. And it's nice to have a recording just because a lot of information comes up, right? So, and the privates, basically, you get your chakra cleared. All of your chakras get cleared, and you don't have to worry about terminology like an illumination. You just come and see me. That's for me to know. Clearing out your chakras, followed by an illumination. And I always test now for intrusive entities, whether that's, and again, you don't have to worry about keeping track of all this vocabulary, but if you're interested, if it's like a ghost, that's called a fluid extraction that I would need to do, or it would just be called an entity. Um, if I was doing a hard crystallized extraction, that means that there's an object, like a ghost object. So maybe you got somebody threw a rock in your face and killed you, and that's how you died in your past life. Well, I could actually energetically feel like the rock, and then I would, on an energetic level, remove it. And it's like doing surgery. And then like people, surgeons, they're sewing. Well, I got my feather here, and I just delicately cauterize your wound with the incense, and it just comes so easy and naturally to me. I really delight in this process, and um, so if you were wondering what the privates were like, that's what they're like. It's just us. And, what about if you're like, well, Gina, what about if I don't need to have an entity extracted? Well, then you don't need to have it. Then I don't do that, right? But at least I'll test and see if there's one there. And every time you see me, I test you all of the time because you're never off the hook. Like they're always coming, or they might be hiding so deep down because, like I was talking about earlier, it's like a garden. And then finally, you're weeding out the garden, cleaning it out. Other plants and trees start growing. One of them turns out to be an entity, right? Or something that a shadow was covering. Now it has light, it's exposed. So it's a good idea to book a private. And I set the privates up like I did so that you are committing with conviction to come and see me 2 times, once a month. And I'm finding 2-3 hour sessions. Personally, I find them to be beneficial because it psychologically allows you to slip into timelessness. If you know you have a 3 hour session with me, it's easy to relax. You've got 3 hours with me. But I'm finding we really don't need that much time. And the biological ones we start getting tired. And in my strong opinion, based on my own personal experience, I'm very passionate. Like you thought I was passionate about mind reprogramming. I'm passionate now about this, getting rid of intrusive entities. It is my new passion, because they really hold us back. And I just have so much to say, but um, you want to book a private, you want to come and see me monthly. And I don't have time to see everybody. So I actually set a schedule for the rest of 2025. I even set a schedule that runs into 2026. And I think I took off July and October because I would like to go to conferences. So the privates are very limited. And this kind of regular maintenance, it's something that I firmly believe that you want to do at least once, twice a month. Come in, whether you feel like you need it or not, and you just get the maintenance. It's part of your alchemy. Um, it's part of your protection. And when we get resistant, or when I'm doing like 2-3 hour sessions, I find this is where I get passionate. The entity is almost playing along and wanting to have a longer session, wanting to spend more time on talk therapy, which is important. Story medicine is important, but it's too much time on talk therapy. It's too much time in regression scenes. It's too much time. The biological one I'm working with is getting tired. They're starting to tune out. They're starting to lose motivation. I used to think, oh, I just need to get them deeper into hypnosis. No, I'm realizing now they have a fucking intrusive entity. And that's the role, that's how it works of the intrusive entity. It doesn't want to go. So me offering a 1 hour session is part of me. Like when you book a session with me, it's hardcore. The session is 1 hour. It's broken up into 3 parts, 20, 20, 20. We have a little bit of conversation, a little bit of story medicine with the gemstone reading, figure out the presenting problem. Then I get busy clearing out your chakras. I test for intrusive entities. I take care of that. I'm done. You're done, right? And usually this wraps up in about, a good 45 to 50 minutes. So I could book for 45, 50 minutes, but I figure let's make it a well-rounded hour because it's always nice just to have time to ask you, like, how are you when it's all over and done. Some people, they just like to sit there and resonate. Some people, they're like, I had an amazing experience. I feel this, these visions went through my head, you know. And the Facebook group, the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective, is a really great Facebook group to belong to because then you can post your dream journals and your stories there. So I'm just getting passionate now, but and it's been a while since I've done one of these. I used to come on live every Saturday and was doing fun free stuff. And anyways, I had to revamp my whole schedule here. But anyways, um, My intention is to come live every Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And if it's close to the new moon, I'll be doing New Moon Wisdom Weavers. If it's close to the full moon, I'll be doing Full Moon Dragon Illuminous. So I don't do the gemstone readings for that. I pull 3 cards from the Dragon Dreams Oracle, and then on the other days, I talk about the Conscious Evolution mini series. And right now there's 5 videos. My intention is not to upload endless videos. Less is more. There's one video about discipline. Who wants to hear about discipline, right? But for real, like if you want to manifest your goals and get shit done, you need to have some discipline. I'm having a hard time waking up in the morning right now. It's a seasonal thing. I need to get to bed even earlier. Even earlier. I need to have that discipline. That means I need to eat earlier. That means I need to go, shower earlier. Then that's what I got to do because my mornings are really sacred to me. And, anyways, Conscious Evolution mini series. All right. Okay, Dragon Dreamers. So again, thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Yep, somebody in the comments wondering, this is my dream scarf, the Bridget dream scarf, and then I added to it. So it used to look nice and fancy. So and dream scarf, I talk about that kind of stuff too in other content. So okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to you now. My name is Gina Virginia Casella, spiritual biz entrepreneur, the one behind the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. And it was my pleasure to provide you with a new moon gemstone reading. I wonder, how are you weaving your wisdom in the dark? I'd love for you to join my free Facebook group, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. And I would absolutely adore if you registered for one of my privates. All right, Dragon Dreamers, take care. And we'll see you next time. I hope you enjoy my outro video, and I hope it plays.